You have probably been in that room, the one where leadership presents the AI roadmap. The slides look good, the timeline is tight, but the investment is real. And the room is quiet, not because people are satisfied, because nobody knows what to say. And you, the middle manager, you are watching both sides. You see what leadership is asking for, and you see what your team is not saying. Here is what I have learned after nearly 2 decades as a change practitioner. I have been in those rooms, the ones where a major change is being announced. And I had trained myself as a change leader as well as a coach to watch, not just for what people say, but for what their bodies are doing. The person who suddenly gets very busy with a laptop, the team lead who goes quiet mid sentence and changes the subject, the crossed arms, the one word answers, the meeting that ends 10 minutes early because no one has any questions. Those are not neutral signs. Now add AI into that room. The questions get bigger. Will this replace me? Can I actually learn this at my age, at my level? What happens to my value here if AI does the work I was hired to do? And the silence gets louder because those are not small professional questions. Those are identity questions. And most managers have not been given the tools to open that conversation safely. I measured this gap directly in one engagement. The executives in one organization reported 82% readiness, but the frontline workers measured in the same week reported only 31%. That is the 51-point gap between what leadership declared and what the team was actually experiencing. And nobody in that organization knew that the gap existed because nobody had created the space to find out. That gap is not a people problem. It is a leadership infrastructure challenge. The middle manager, the team lead, the department head, the person closest to the work has been asked to drive adoption without being given the tools to have a human first conversation. That is the most expensive gap in AI transformation right now. And almost no one is talking about it. Those are the signals of a team that doesn't feel safe enough to speak. When I work with teams going through change, any change, not just AI, the first thing I do is not explain the change. I create the space for the team to tell me what they are already experiencing. Because the resistance that you see is never the whole picture. The real signal is really underneath it. And as a manager, you're being asked to hold space for both realities at once. You are accountable to the organization's AI agenda, and you're also accountable to the humans on your team who are navigating it in real time. That is not a small ask. And doing it well, doing it in a way that actually moves the team forward requires a different kind of conversation that most managers had been trained to have. It requires coaching, not instruction, not reassurance, not training, not a town hall. A structured space where your team can name what they are observing, ask what they are afraid to ask, and come to a shared understanding together. That is what creates alignment, not the rollout plan, but the most authentic conversation. And this is what I call a team charter, a facilitated process where a team comes together, not to being told what to do, but to define it together on how they will work. And for the era that we're living right now, which means having an AI team charter. The AI team charter template are for managers who are sitting exactly in this gap. The ones being asked to lead the AI adoption on the ground without a coaching team behind them, without a change management budget, and without a script for how to open the conversation with their team. This exercise runs in around 30 minutes with your team. It is free for you and it is built around the same facilitation principle I use in my coaching field. Here is how it works. Your first step is about building your team charter canvas. You and your team map two things side by side. The human genius your team brings in terms of judgment, relationship, context, creativity, and their own process, and the AI execution capacity that is coming in your organization. You make the picture visible together. That single act changes the conversation. Step number 2 includes 10 facilitation questions. These are the questions that help to surface what your team is not saying in the regular meeting. They are designed to create psychological safety before uncertainty becomes resistance. You do not need to be a coach to use them, they do the work for you. Step number 3 is creating the final charter with your team. A one-page document your entire team signs together, not a mandate handed down from above, but a commitment that your team co-creates and owns. This is what makes it stick. When a team goes through this process, something shifts. Not because the charter is magic, because for the first time they had the conversation. They were asked, they were heard, and they had a hand in what's coming next. This is the difference between compliance and a collective commitment. And collective commitment is what makes AI adoption and organizational change, not just a tool deployment. The link to download the free template is in the description. You enter your name and your email, and you get access to the document in a PDF format. You are also going to be added to the waitlist for the AI enabled manager activation sprint course, which is launching this summer. The course goes deeper into the full readiness methodology. Free focused self-paced sessions built for managers and team leads who are leading AI adoption at the ground level. Run the charter with your team this week and notice what surfaces when you give people a structured space to speak. Subscribe to this channel. I will be keeping and releasing practical tools for the managers who are doing the hardest part of AI transformation, which is the human part. The technology is not the problem. Open the room for authentic conversation with your team, and they are going to thank you for it.